Today I'm going to get rid of the turn signals and replace it with these. These are the New Rage Cycles LEDs, and inside the box, I'll show you closer, but what you get is you get a bag of zip ties, some little plastic bits, and some heat shrink, and then what you get are 2 of these. So these turn signals are just an LED ring. I'm gonna put them right down here in place of the stock turn signals. What I've done already, I don't like cutting wires too much, and I'm not real good at soldering. I know my weaknesses. So what I'm doing is I'm going to use JST connections, which are actually the connections that the stock turn signals use. So I have already done one already. I'll show you the process to do the other one. And I'm going to use this JST, unplug this, take this off, and then I'm going to just plug it in. It should be plug and play. That does a couple things. One, it gets me away from cutting it, gets me away from soldering anything. Also makes it totally reversible and easily reversible. If something happens with these, I don't like them, I want to go back to the stock. So that's what we're going to do. I'll set everything up and be right back. All right, I've got a sweatshirt and a beanie on today because it is cold. It is actually Thanksgiving weekend in northern Indiana, and I actually was out riding today, but it was kind of chilly. So first thing you want to do is we're going to take off the headlight nacelle. So you've seen this all over the internet on how to take this off. It's really easy. I'm going to take my 6mm Allen and just undo 3 bolts on that side and 3 bolts on the other. You don't need to watch, so I'll fast forward and get through this and join you in a second. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is take a couple 10mm box wrenches, and we're going to get the bolts here and get this off. So this bolt is just holding the turn signal on. It wraps around the fork tube. So once you do that, it's just a rubber piece. Comes off like that, pretty easy. And then here is, hopefully you can see that. Right here is going to be your male to female connection with the JST. So I'm going to take a small blade screwdriver and just push down on the section right here. It comes out. 1 turn signal removed. Now what we're going to do is we've got it, and we can just plug it in. A couple different things you can do in this. You've got options. So you could just slide the turn signal on, plug it in, and you're done, provided you've done the JST thing, which we'll get to in a second. What I'm going to do is I've put the fork boots on. Everything's blacked out up front, so I really don't want chrome showing, even if it's a little bit, even if it's just, you know, down here where the turn signal normally would be. So once I put the nacelle back on, these tubes are going to be showing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some vinyl wrap I've got laying around. I've got some black carbon fiber looking vinyl wrap, so I'm going to wrap that around this fork tube first. Then I'll put the turn signal over it and then plug it in, and we'll go from there. All right, so what I did is I just wrapped some vinyl around here. The stuff I had on the shelf was a carbon fiber pattern, and so that's what's going to be underneath my nacelle. And all it really needs to do is just black out the part that's not going to show, part that would normally be under this turn signal like this, so roughly up to here. I just did the whole thing just because I had enough, but all you have to do is really like that high if you want to. But I did this. The other thing is if you do the whole thing, if you ever wanted to take the nacelle off and just go naked light, you could do that. So it gives you more options. If you wanted to, you could also, I guess, do different colors. You can get a vinyl wrap that matches your paint scheme or whatever you wanted to do. So, all right. So this part's done on this side at least. I'll get the turn signal ready to put on, plug it in, and then what I'll do after that is I'll show you guys, won't show you the whole process again, but what I'll do is I'll show you the process of hooking the raw wires up to the JST so that you can fit into this outlet easy. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put the ring around the fork tube. And it comes with a couple of these spacers. They're plastic spacers. I'm not sure if we're gonna need them or not, but I've got them standing by. That's probably just to make it tighter once it gets on. If you hear some snorting and stuff like that, it's my dog. He's in the garage with me, so. All right, so I'm gonna put a little bit of glass cleaner on it just to kind of make it slippery. And then you gotta stretch it on there. It's gonna be a tight fit. Ooh, there we go. It's on. And I don't think I'm gonna need those plastic spacers to make it tighter. All right, so once that's on, you see it here. Next step is gonna be to take your JST connector and plug it in. You can feel it snap into place. We're gonna take the zip ties and tie these all up tight, so no need to worry with that. Make sure it's working. It looks good. So I'll get the other side prepared. As far as I'll take the other turn signal off, I'll put the vinyl wrap on the other side, and then we'll jump to how to take the other turn signal that comes like this from the company, and we're gonna put the JST connector on it to make it plug and play. All right, so this is the part where, like, people that do this for a living and electricians are gonna just probably have a field day with me. But I don't have the proper tools to crimp these, so I'm gonna improvise. It does work. I got the first turn signal working, and we're gonna show you how to do it on this one. What you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to order some of these. And I'll leave a link for these in the description in the video. What they are is terminals for the JST connection. So I think I might actually have, yeah, I've got one broken off already that I'm gonna use. So there's the pin. This pin goes actually in this way, and it's gonna come through here inside, and that's gonna plug in and make the connection to the bike. What you've got is you've got a couple crimp areas. One crimp area up at the tip is going to be where you want to crimp the wire, the bare wire to this to make the connection. And then you've got a wider crimp in the back. That's going to be for the actual insulation of the wire, and you're going to want to get that all sitting in there and then crimp it with the proper tools if you have it, but I've got needle nose pliers, so that's what we're going to use. You got to prepare the wire a little bit as well. So this has got way too much bare wire on it, so we're going to need to slice that off. You actually need very little bare wire to do this, because it needs to fit into that crimp, that small crimp part. So I'm going to do that, cut this off. Do that or not. tips. And then I'm going to slice this open a little bit. They've got some heat shrink on here, but I need the wires to be more separated. Okay, so here we are. What I did is I took a pick. When you get these things, they're gonna have this little blue rubber piece in them like this. Okay, so I'm taking a pick and I'm going to remove that because we're gonna need it on the wires. And then I've got my wire that I've stripped down with very little bare wire at the tips. Stripped back this so I've got a little bit more room, and I might have to do a little bit more depending on how difficult this gets. And I put a piece of shrink wrap, heat wrap here on the tube. It's not heated up yet. I'm just going to put it there, kind of staging it for when I get everything ready to button up. I'm going to put both these wires through the holes. There's 2 holes in that blue rubber piece. Got both of those in there. This blue rubber piece is going to create a water resistant barrier so you don't get moisture in your connections once you plug it in. So let's start with the black wire. These little connectors, they're really small, but you've got the pin that's going to go through into here. That's actually going to make the connection. Then you've got a crimp in the back area to crimp on the insulation of the wire, and then you've got a crimp in the front that's going to be to crimp the actual wire and make sure the connection is solid. So what I've done is I've just, hope you can see this, I've just kind of put the wire in to the pin, and it's just sitting there right now. I haven't crimped anything. I'm going to hold it with my fingers, and I'm going to crimp this back one first just to get a good hold on the insulation so I'm not fighting that wire. Alright, so once I've done that, now it's holding on, I'm going to crimp the part that's making a connection to the metal. Make sure it's tight. Alright, everything's on there. I do the same thing here. So you take the terminals that you bought and you just gently pop these off. Repeat the process that you just did on the black wire on the red wire. Sliding it in to the terminal. Again, there's a tool specifically made to do this stuff. I don't have it. So I also don't have a link to where to get it. If any of you guys are electricians that are watching, have used this stuff, feel free to leave a comment to help people out if they need to find these connectors or the crimpers, the right tools to do this stuff. So they're on there really good. They're not going anywhere. So the next step is I'm going to put it in here. The way I did the last one, it worked. I put the black on the right side of this and the red on the left. Orientation's here. We're going to slide the black wire in. And this is where the right tools come in handy because I think I need to crimp it more to get it to slide in there. Alright, so I'm going to this red one a little bit more so it slides in better. Alright, so once you've done that, you've got the wires in here. Go ahead and slide your blue rubber plug back over and just kind of push it in flush. That creates the watertight seal. There you go. Now wired to the JST plug, I've slid my shrink wrap back over here. I'm gonna just keep this up so it shrinks. Alright, let me get this on the bike. I'll get the bike all buttoned back up and give you guys a look.